Good morning guys, Praful here, welcome back. Thanks for joining in. Today is 30th of September. Today is the monthly expiry and mind you, guys, Praful, monthly expiries will be usually super volatile and that's the nature of it. And मेरा already एक stop loss hit हो गया है on a 17,600 put. So when the fall happened from almost 17,740 to 17,660, so of course like I had to give up on this. तो यहाँ पे मैंने स्टॉप लॉस दे दिया है. एज ऑफ नाउ मार्क टू मार्केट वाइज वी आर डाउन स्लाइटली अंडर 1 पॉइंट. तो क्वांटिटी इज 4,500 का हेज बाई करके रखा हूं मैं. बट आई स्टिल हैव अराउंड 4.5 lakhs margin used. I don't like to use the margin cut to cut. The problem will be because while doing some adjustments, if I want to push any of the short legs close to the market, then sometimes like my order gets rejected. So एक 2-3 लाख मुझे ऐसे ही कंटिंजेंसी में रखना मैं पसंद करूंगा. तो टॉकिंग अबाउट द पोजीशंस, आई हैव हाफ ऑफ माय पुट्स एट 17,500, half of my puts are at 17,550, and I have like very tiny amount of quantities of calls at 17,750 and majority of the calls at 17,800. So I'm not thinking 17,800 should be a threat today, but at the same time the 17,750 can be a huge amount of threat. But these 17,750 calls, they were shorted only as some protection from the downside. तो अगर हम लोग ऐसे अगर कंटिन्यू करते then I would get some amount of cushioning from the 17,750 calls was what my thinking was. So as of now, though we haven't realized any decay, it's okay. We have close to 20, at least 20 points weighted average भी पकड़ते हैं तो we have around 20 points to capture on a 4,500 sizing, which should be a decent amount of premiums to actually capture. So the idea remains the same. The idea is not to let the mark to market slide more than 22,000 at any point of time. If at all we do, then probably we have to cut the risk and try to get back what we've lost. So that would be the idea. But unless we see some furious spikes in either direction, I'm not seeing this mark to market slide below 25,000. So 25,000 30,000 तक भी मतलब मैं सह सकता हूँ. And once we reach 30,000 mark to market, from there on, like it's just collecting back. We just want to make back what we have lost and probably call the day slightly above break even or something. That should also ideally work. Just as we were speaking, the market just got like way too volatile, and ऐसे जैसे 20 moving average breach हो गया, then I had no other option but to actually cut out my 17,750 ka calls, shift them to 17,800, and some of the 17,800 calls I had to shift them back to 17,850. So these I'm gonna keep them up till 20 rupees. ये 17,800 calls जैसे 20 touch होगा तो probably I'll have to again risk off from that position. So at this point I'm not very interested in taking additional credit from the put side, because the put side has already crashed. This 17,600 puts, the crash from almost 33 to almost 13, तो काफी ज्यादा crash हो गया है. So I'm not planning to take additional risk, considering today is the monthly expiry and that to a half yearly expiry. So I'll try to play as risk averse as possible, try to collect like whatever I can even now, in spite of a two-way move. Because look at this, 730 से लेके 650, 80 point down and 80 point up. In spite of this, like our mark to market hasn't slid down considerably. We are still hovering somewhere around cost to cost. So there is no need for us to take additional risk today. So I'll try to be as far away from the markets as possible and try to make whatever possible. So we are already up. So the thing is, now as long as the day's low is not breached and as long as the day's high is not breached, I don't think there is anything to do whatsoever. तो वैसे ही रखेंगे. तो we'll try to keep ourselves a bit away from the market, and at the same time जब तक ये day's high breach नहीं होता है तब तक we're gonna hold on to this. We're gonna hold on to this and we're gonna see like how these calls react. So अब मैं I want to address one question that I keep getting asked. That is, डू आई लुक एट ओपन इंटरेस्ट? क्या मैं ओपन इंटरेस्ट को देखता हूँ, क्या उसको एनालाइज करता हूँ, क्या मैं ओपन इंटरेस्ट के बेसिस पे मैं पोजिशंस लेता हूँ? द आंसर इज yes and no. क्योंकि आई लुक एट ओपन इंटरेस्ट टू सी what the majority of the people are thinking, but the thing about open interest is it can be a double-edged sword. मतलब suppose अभी फिलहाल में अभी my open interest is on the other side of the screen, so you can just check it while watching the video on some charts. तो फिलहाल में 17,800 calls have the highest number of open interest, that is somewhere around 9 million plus quantities. ठीक है, तो 90 लाख कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स ऐड हुए हैं 17,800 कॉल्स में. So if I short all the calls at 17,800, just like what I've done, so yes, 70% of the time this does work out, but not at, ऐसे smooth decay नहीं मिलने वाला है. Of course, like this will spike to 15, 16, 17, 20 तक भी जाएगा. कभी in the money होके last 20-30 minutes में ये नीचे आके 17,800 will become OTM and expire worthless. And the second thing is, whenever you're trading based on the open interest, make sure that you will be the one to get out the first when the people are running for cover. मतलब एक स्ट्राइक पे जितना स्ट्रॉन्ग ओपन इंटरेस्ट बिल्ड होता है, उतना ही स्ट्रॉन्ग अगर वो टूटता है तो उतना ही स्ट्रॉन्ग उसका इफेक्ट पड़ता है. इट्स लाइक when 9 million people have shorted the 17,800 call, let's say at an average price of 12 rupees or something, सबका एक थ्रेशोल्ड रहता है होल्ड करने का. तो द मोमेंट इट स्टार्ट्स टचिंग 17, 18, 19, 20, जब तक 20 टच हो जाएगा, देन एवरीवन विल स्टार्ट टू अनवाइंड. अनवाइंड बोले तो क्या है, अगर तुम लोग सेल कर रहे हैं तो यू विल जस्ट क्लिक एग्जिट एंड यू विल बाय बैक दोज ऑप्शंस. एंड व्हेन देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ डिमांड फॉर दोज ऑप्शंस, ईदर इन टर्म्स ऑफ buying or in terms of unwinding an existing short position, तो सिंपल सी बात है, the prices will skyrocket and the prices will behave in a way what everyone calls the gamma moves. तो gamma moves होने का chances ज्यादा रहता है. So the ideal way is to yes depend on the open interest to a certain extent, but don't make it a hard and fast rule. तो अभी मैं नीचे की तरफ मेरे को कैसे दिख रहा है ओपन इंटरेस्ट? देयर आर 6 मिलियन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स बोथ एट 17,600 एज वेल एज 17,500. मतलब द पोजिशनिंग इज स्लाइटली बेरिश, क्योंकि 17,800 पे 10 मिलियन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स है, बट 17,600 पे इतना कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स बिल्डअप हुआ नहीं है. तो द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स आर स्प्रेड अक्रॉस बोथ 17,600 एज वेल एज 17,500, 17,550, तीनों स्ट्राइक्स पे बैठे हैं लोग. व्हाट इट मीन्स इज पीपल don't have the kind of conviction on the put side as much they have on the call side. मतलब लोग दावे के साथ कह रहे हैं कि भाई 17,800 कॉल तो ब्रीच नहीं होगा, but at the same time they are not pretty sure about the 17,600 puts. They say they are believing that like bro, market कभी भी थोड़ा टपक सकता है and we might be forced to cover our position. So this is what the open interest is telling me in general. But do I take open interest as some sort of a holy grail? Of course not. मैं open interest को जितना भी लूंगा, जितना भी I'll take everything with a pinch of salt. But at the end of the day, open interest कुछ भी बोलने दो. If this starts to reach to 16, 17 and उस टाइम पे मोदी आके बोलेगा मित्रों मैं भी 17,800 कॉल को शॉर्ट किया हूँ, doesn't matter, I'll get out of that position. क्योंकि मेरे को इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है पहले रिस्क मैनेजमेंट, उसके बाद बाकी सब आएगा. ओपन इंटरेस्ट, सपोर्ट रेजिस्टेंस, इंडिकेटर्स, मार्केट सेंटिमेंट्स, वो सब बाद में. एज ऑफ नाउ माई पोजिशनिंग इज स्लाइटली ऑन द बेरिश साइड, मे बी मतलब थोड़ा बेरिश साइड का पोजिशन पे ही हूं. बट द मोमेंट दिस 200 डे मूविंग एवरेज जो लाइन दिख रहा है ना, व्हाइट लाइन, ये लाइन अगर ब्रीच हो जाता है एट एनी पॉइंट, तो देन फ्रॉम बेरिश पोजिशन आई विल टर्न माई सेल्फ इन टू अ न्यूट्रल टू बेरिश. अभी थोड़ा ज्यादा ही बेरिश पोजिशन है ये, बिकॉज लुक एट दिस, द calls are at 11 rupees and 21 rupees. तो इसका एवरेज प्राइस क्या हो गया? समवेयर अराउंड 15 रुपीज है एवरेज प्राइस, एंड पुट्स का एवरेज प्राइस क्या है? 8 रुपीज है. तो ऑलमोस्ट मेरा कॉल्स का एवरेज प्राइस ऑलमोस्ट ट्वाइस एज मच एज पुट्स. तो इफ वी सी अ 20 पॉइंट अप मूव, सडनली एक 20 पॉइंट अप मूव आ जाता है, देन प्रोबेबली आई वुड बी सीइंग अ गुड अमाउंट ऑफ ड्रॉडाउन. एक 2-3 पॉइंट का तो मिनिमम ड्रॉडाउन मिलेगा ही, एंड उसके साथ साथ आई माइट बी फोर्स टू चेंज माई पोजिशंस एज वेल. बट एट द सेम टाइम मैं जब तक इसको चेंज नहीं करूंगा तब तक ये 200 मूविंग एवरेज क्रॉस नहीं होता. ठीक है, so that's the idea. And yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. The time is 11:01. देखो जैसे मैं बोल रहा था नीचे आ रहा है, though the position is bearish, but the kind of premiums that these puts are gaining, it's not really being compensated by these calls मतलब थोड़ा धीरे डीके हो रहा है, and these puts are spiking a bit too much. But anyway, like I have 1000 quantity of calls sitting at 17,750, so these should act as a real good cushion. तो देखेंगे क्या होगा. So the idea is at any point like we should not slide down to more than -20,000 mark to market. तो जब तक वो नहीं होगा तब तक I think we should be doing okay. So that's the idea. I'll keep you guys posted. All right, what did we see? We saw a 100-point rapid sell-off. पता नहीं किस institution से आया, and the weakness definitely came from Bank Nifty and IT, pretty much all across the sectors. So I was up by almost 25k, and from 25k I went to -20k, so that's a slide of almost 9 points on this current position sizing. But as of now I'm just down by 1.5 points from my overall mark to market position, so it's okay, it's doable. I mean, like we gave up pretty much all the theta that we collected in this 3 hours, and almost like orders भी काफी ज़्यादा punch होना पड़ेंगे. But that's kind of, you know, that's kind of it's a cost of doing business. You can't complain about it. So as of now my positions are 17,500, 550, 600 पे थोड़े quantities का put short किया मैंने. That's because I don't want to get stuck in some other gamma moves. And another important thing that happened is one of my options जहाँ पे मैंने put का stop loss रखा था, they didn't even get executed. तो यहाँ पे मैं 26 पे मैंने stop loss रखा था, and that 26 का stop loss it didn't even get triggered. And यहाँ पे 17,550 में 13 rupees का stop loss रखा था, and that also didn't get triggered. And उसके वजह से I almost took like 5 points of stop loss, मतलब 5 points का slippage मिला. यहाँ पे 9 points का slippage, यहाँ पे 5 points का slippage. तो दोनों जगह पे काफी अच्छा खासा slippage मिला, and limit orders पूरा jump हो गया. So I think like the market makers, they have a way of, you know, like screwing you no matter what. एक्सचेंज ने लिमिट ऑर्डर, आई मीन एक्सचेंज ने एसएलएम ऑर्डर को बैन कर दिया, तो अभी वो लोग बोलता है कि ठीक है भाई तुम लिमिट ऑर्डर प्लेस करो, हम लोग लिमिट ऑर्डर्स को जंप ही कर देंगे. बट एज ऑफ नाउ वी आर डाउन बाय क्लोज टू 2 points, so it's fine, like so it's easy, it's 2 points down है तो easily recoverable. Like if I touch a mark to market of 25k at any point, so probably I'll call it a day. तो अभी डेज लो ब्रीच होने तक I don't think we need to do anything, because of course my put options are at 17,600, but the quantities are pretty minimum. 500 quantity तो है, तो अगर ये spike भी होता है तो I'll shift it to 500 and 550, ऐसे shift करते जाएंगे. तो we have a decent amount of premium still left. See, like we have around 10 points on the call itself, and combined puts पे सब मिला के एटलीस्ट एक एवरेज पकड़े तो भी एक 5 points मिलेगा कॉल्स पे, आई मीन पुट्स पे. सो इट्स अ 15 point potential reward for me. So अगर ये 15 point capture होता है तो again we'll be ending in green. I'm not targeting much, like अगर 1% भी 0.5% भी आता है तो that should be a good enough outcome, because like look at this guys, look at this, like we had first morning volatility, V shape recovery, उसके बाद फिर से नीचे, फिर से ऊपर, फिर से 100 point का fall. So we have been everywhere, the markets have been all over the places. So yeah, so once the IVs get cooled off, put side का IVs cool off होते ही, like I'll start adding the quantities to the 17,600 puts ideally, or like if these calls start to be threatening, then probably I'll have to roll away these calls. Because so one thing which is highly probable is the 17,750 calls, they can't be in the money. ठीक है, that is highly improbable. That is because like after this kind of a sell off, of course this swing acts as a resistance, this 20 moving average acts as a resistance, the CPR acts as a resistance, 200 moving average acts as a resistance, and ये सब भी होने के बाद अगर यहाँ तक भी आ जाएगा तो यहाँ पे भी एक resistance आ ही जाएगा. So that's the thing. So probably like this 8 points or something, so that is kind of guaranteed. Like I'll keep you guys posted, because put options काफी ज़्यादा spike हो रहा है. Alright, time is 3:12. We are 12 minutes into the averaging, and kind of annoying day, like super annoying, super frustrating day, because yes, यहाँ पे नीचे जो आए that was fine, but the kind of pullbacks we are getting and the kind of the second and third legs of the fall, that kind of, completely took me off guard. So we have another 1 rupee left in this position, not 1 rupee, 80 paise left in this position. So that will be somewhere around 4k. So we are up by around 6.6k. So 10k touch ho jayenge. So nothing great, and I have placed like hell lot of orders, and शायद मेरा आज का brokerage ही शायद होगा कम से कम एक 7-8 हज़ार रुपए brokerage में ही जाएगा. Problem was not these falls. ये fall हुआ कोई problem नहीं. The kind of pullbacks we were getting, these swift brisk pullbacks, and then a swift fall, another swift pullback, another swift fall, another swift pullback, and अब भी finally थोड़ा बहुत मतलब लास्ट एक 15-20 मिनट्स में ये हुआ. बट इवन विथ दिस मूवमेंट, इस मूवमेंट पे भी a 50-60 point triangle was behaving quite wildly when the averaging was about to start. मेरा पहले कॉल साइड का स्टॉप लॉस हिट हो गया, उसके बाद पुट साइड का स्टॉप लॉस हिट हो गया, एंड बिफोर आई कुड री एंटर ऑल द प्राइसेस वर जस्ट कोलैप्सिंग. सो मैं, if I had taken the normal, I mean if my stop losses hadn't been hit in all these situations in this last 10 minutes, so I'd be looking at somewhere around 30-35k at least. But just because I got kicked out at the worst possible time, it was exactly like, people, as if like people can see through your stop losses. कहाँ पे रखे exact stop losses, जैसे लेते हैं जाते हैं. तो immediately अपना stop loss hit हो रहा था and immediately collapse हो रहा था before I could even act. So yes, that was the thing, and we have another 15 minutes to go, and most probably both these options, 600 put and 650 call. So ideally this should go to zero, and we have another 70 paise in this and around 15 paise, another 55 paise left. So close to around 10k for the day. And yeah, I hope you guys had a good expiry. मतलब बीच में काफी ज्यादा टाइम तक मैं इस पॉइंट से इस पॉइंट तक पूरा इस एरिया में मैं आपको कुछ भी अपडेट नहीं दे पाया, बिकॉज आई वाज काइंड ऑफ फ्रस्ट्रेटेड, बिकॉज मतलब जो भी एडजस्टमेंट कर रहा था, इट वाज एवरीथिंग वाज गेटिंग बैकफायर्ड. सो 10k फॉर द डे, सो नथिंग मेजर. 10k में ऑलमोस्ट 7k तक 7-8k तक मतलब चार्जेस में चला जाएगा. इट्स जस्ट लाइक आई हैव रिकवर्ड द चार्जेस, नथिंग एल्स. बट कल 31st है क्या, या कल 1st है? ओके, टुमारो इज 1st. सो कल मैं मंथली P&L स्टेटमेंट में डालूंगा. तो सितंबर मंथ कैसे हुआ, विल एनालाइज हाउ द सितंबर मंथ वेंट, एंड where did we go wrong, what things did we do right, and what are the areas where we can improve, and how are we planning the next month. वो सब डिस्कस करेंगे. एंड आई होप यू गाइस हैड अ गुड एक्सपायरी. मेरे जितना खराब तो नहीं हुआ रहेगा. एंड या, आई विल सी यू गाइस टुमारो.